Greetings, first learners and my viewers and my viewer. How have you been? I trust you had a good evening. As I've always told you, abundance is a natural state for you. And today, guess what? Especially for those who are in the workplace, those who are employed, and those who are chasing the corporate ladder. Yes, I don't know who told us there is a ladder. And we'll get to know whether the ladder is there or there is the staircase. And today we are lucky that I'm hosting Sharon Otiende, a workplace coach. She has done a lot of work in that topic, and she has been able to coach so many people in the workplace who have been able to experience abundance, who have been able to see for real. This is the ladder that you are promised, and you're indeed climbing it. Or this is the war that you're told that you're going to fight, and you're need going to fight for it. Sharon, welcome to our platform, Abundance First Aid. This is a place where we tell everyone that abundance is a natural state for us. And we have hosted you again, and I'm glad that you're able to find time to join us. And maybe for those who have not seen you again, and for those who are there, please feel free to introduce yourself again so that those who don't know you can get to know you better. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Abundance Fastlane. It is a privilege. I also feel honored to be back to this platform to talk to people who, to them, abundance is a natural state. I'm very glad to be here today. My name is Sharon Otiende Kaiga, and I help you enjoy your workplace. As Martha has said, climbing the corporate ladder, do we know if there is any ladder or how are we supposed to climb that ladder? So I will help you understand how to climb that ladder, whether we have any stairs or what means are you using to climb the ladder. I'm a certified human resource professional, and I coach professionals in whichever area of work you are in, and you feel stuck, you feel undervalued, you feel misunderstood. I help you have the clarity on what you need to do at work. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Sharon. And for you first learners, especially those who are employed and who are in the corporate, I know there is a lot that we really get to learn from Sharon. Sharon, maybe to start us off, tell us, do we have, for us to work with clarity and strategy, do we have that radar? Is it a chase? Is it a war? Is it a game? What is this? Give us that clarity so that we get to know what you're getting into. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Abundance. So to climb the corporate ladder, there are stairs which move very fast. Today, you could be seeing the stairs that this is the direction I need to take. The next minute, there isn't any. You just need to figure out how you're going to climb it. So I would say it is not a very linear path. Sometimes it's a game that you have to play. You have to be very strategic. You have to be alive to the reality of what your workplace is, because no two workplaces are the same. So you have to be alive to the reality of what the workplace is. You have to know how to climb even when there is no ladder. And then you also have to know, what am I doing? How am I positioning myself to climb the ladder?
Thank you, Sharon. You had shared some notes with me. Maybe you can share with my viewers so that they're able to enjoy the same. As you tell
Okay.
us, as you get to tell us, like, how do we position ourselves for this game, for this ladder climbing?
Okay, so welcome our viewers. I don't want to really make this more of a class, but a session where you're able to pick notes, to learn, and to thrive at your places of work. Because I think the narrative that we were sold to when in campus or while growing up is not even close to what we encounter at our places of work. So in my day-to-day life, I help employees get the clarity and the strategy to position themselves at work. And I've had a lot of backlash in terms of positioning yourself to work. Naturally, you'd expect that if you are a hard worker, then you'll definitely grow at work. That if I'm giving in the work, I'm doing in my best, then definitely I'm the best candidate for promotion. But today, I'm here to burst your bubble and tell you hard work is not enough. So we'll explore the different elements of workplace visibility, strategic positioning, and a little bit of understanding office dynamics. because this is very essential for the growth of any professional in an organization. We are going to discuss how, what do I mean when I say positioning? You know, you could be wondering, what is positioning? What is alignment? What does it mean? So that forms our topic of discussion today, and let's get into it. So positioning yourself strategically. Let me tell you, at your place of work, don't be very naive. Don't assume that you're doing your best and nobody knows it. Somehow you'll be recognized. You should be able, any day you go to work, you should be able to tell yourself, okay, who knows what I am doing? I have noticed there's an opportunity there. How am I aligning myself to go and win? For example, that is an animal that you want to hunt. You can see that is an animal there, maybe a chicken. Let me use a chicken because I come from that side. If I want to get a hold of a chicken to slaughter for dinner, there is what I need to do. As much as that is my chicken, it is not obvious that I'll just hold it and have it for dinner. I need to throw some meals to eat, throw some maize, some grains for it to come closer. Don't forget and don't get it twisted, guys, that at your places of work, you also need to position yourself in a way that you are getting closer to the opportunity that you seize or to the opportunity that you've noticed every other time. So it's about consciously shaping how you're perceived within the organization. You know, I've dealt with people who tell me, people think this about me. People say this about me. My supervisor says this. My colleague says this. So perception at your place of work is very important. It involves understanding the unspoken rules. You know, there are rules that no one will ever tell you in corporate. For instance, don't outshine your master. There is no school that will ever tell you you don't need to outshine your boss. These are unwritten rules that we learn on the job. And I want to make it easier for you. There was one time we were having a discussion with Abundance, and she told me, whatever you tell people is what I learned 6 years down the line. And you see, then I was telling her, that shouldn't be the case. This is something that at least when you get to the workplace, you should have known 80% of it. Yours is to try and figure out the remaining 20%. But what happens to us is we never know them. We get to work, we expect that since I'm a performer, since I do my best, since I come to work on time, I'll get the promotion. Lo and behold, when the time comes for a promotion, your name is nowhere. In fact, there was another person who was brought from a different organization to come and do what you know so well, the systems that you understand so well, the people you've interacted with and you know so well. That's why it's important that I tell you, it's very important to position yourself strategically. So how do you do it? You need to understand the culture in an organization, how a decision made. You know, if you're in a meeting, of course, when you're in a staff meeting on the town halls that we have at our places of work, you should be ready to tell that there are certain people who carry so much weight. They're the decision makers. And sometimes it is not the CEO. Sometimes it is not the director. There are people who are consulted before decisions are made. That is now upon you. That now becomes your assignment to find out and establish who are these people who wield power. And I would surprise you to tell you that in some organizations, it's even the driver. Mm-hmm. Those people have so much power that they could even recommend you for a promotion, and just that's it. Mm-hmm. So be very careful with how you relate with people, because some of them have power that you may never know. So it becomes your task. That means you then have to really understand your organization very well. The culture, how decisions are made, who are these people who hold power, even though they seem powerless, right? Also align your work and company priorities and values. I've never understood how someone would complain about their organization and expect that they would get a promotion. Meanwhile, you're complaining to your colleagues. Everyone can see you are a complainer. They know that whenever Sharon stands to talk, she'll be complaining about this company, about the systems that are not working, about delayed payments, about complaints. So you complain to your colleagues, and then the next morning you're coming there and you're saying, why didn't I get the promotion? Why am I not being picked for that? Why did they advertise that position? You don't know that the people you're talking to are the same ones who set you up. They went and told, the stakeholders what you talk to them about the company. So you should be able to identify key influencers and stakeholders. And I think I have said that. Stakeholders, I think we know who, in any organization, we know who the stakeholders are. But you should be also be able to know who are the key influencers. Yeah, right? Those people that they never talk much. Sometimes they're loud, sometimes they're not, but they could just mention your name to someone and that's it. Your struggle ends there. So yes, you're working hard, and I'm not saying that you neglect the place of working hard. It's very important that you work hard. Very, very important that you put in the work. Because again, if you're appointed and you're struggling with the duties, that also becomes another problem, that you are appointed as the head of finance and you don't even know how to interpret the books of accounts. It becomes another problem. So give in your best and then now come and play the game, because that ladder moves very fast. And most of the time, it is never there. You never see the stairs to climbing the ladder, but you need to climb the ladder. And then develop a personal brand reflecting your strengths and your values. Abundance, I've always had a problem because I know most employers would not allow their employees to talk about themselves on LinkedIn, just to talk about themselves. But if your employer is easy and they allow you to talk about what you do, you may not necessarily mention the clients, what is this policy? Data Protection Act. You may not mention the clients or mention names, but you're able to talk about what you do. For instance, I'm in HR. If I'm working for an organization that allows me to do like recruitments, the other day I'm doing performance management, I could just talk about those duties that I do and my input on LinkedIn without mentioning anyone, not my colleagues, not anything. So if your company allows, well and good. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, there's nothing much you can do unless policy changes. But it's very, very important that you market yourself in the market.
True. Wow, that is so awesome. Give us these tactics.
Yes, these tactics that we learned the hard way. I was just thinking in my mind, what if I have done a course in a certification for HR, and just the other day the syllabus was changed and they introduced a course on office politics. But I was thinking, how about we make certain topics like introduction to corporate, maybe like a common unit in campus, so that whatever you've learned, some people get a very rude shock on their first day at work because they think it is bread and butter. Lo and behold, they come and meet people who don't even care about them. And there you are, very polite and naive intern who has just finished school, thinking that corporate is going to embrace you. You come and meet people who don't even want to train you.
Yeah,
That is the real life of what.
Unafikiria sisi wote
Yes.
ni cousins na mashemeji.
Auntie. Hakuna cousins. Cousins ends on social media, on the ground. It is you and your. So it becomes very, very difficult to cope with corporate. I know that for sure. And I've seen so many people who've been broken by corporate abundance to the point that I feel so sorry. But it is the state of affairs. It is what happens. Sometimes you can only try and do your best to talk to those that you can come across with, but sometimes people just lose it. Some even decide they're going to be entrepreneurs, not knowing what entrepreneurship does to people. So how do you position yourself? Yes. Someone told me that when you're living your 8 to 5, you're simply now going to start 5 to 8. You're just adding more. So there's no escape route. You just have to learn.
Wow.
Yeah. So positioning tactics. How do you position yourself? Number one is network dynamics. Leverage on informal networks and power structures and how decisions are truly made. Have networks. You see, if you are a HR, at least have no other HRs in other organizations, how they do their things. Just join those associations. If there is a meeting, go for those meetings. If there's anything that can be beneficial to you, please join those meetings, because networks are very important. The very day that your contract is terminated or your job comes to an end, what happens is the first thing that you do is you call people. Before you apply, before you start now the process of job hunting and all that, you call people in your contact list who you think can help you. So you'll go, this is a HR somewhere, she could be knowing something. This one, I think, leverage on the next networks that you have. And then advocate with data. I'm always telling my clients, Abundance, that at the workplace, there are organizations where they're strict that you need to share your reports maybe every month, every week. Sometimes it is never asked for. So take advantage, especially if you're in an organization where reports are never asked for. Just jitume. In Kenya, we say jitume. Do the honors of writing a very simple report. It could be even a WhatsApp message. It could be an email. You don't even need to draw tables and explaining with pie chart. A very simple report that says, this is what I've worked on this week. This is what I intend to do next week. And this is where I need your support. You're addressing your supervisor. You're telling them, I did this. I intend to do this next week. This is where I need your help. As simple as that, and send that report to them. See how that thing works magic. And then you're able to back it up with data. If you did recruitment, you say, I had 4 positions that I needed to fill. I've been able to fill 2. So I hope to fill the remaining 2 next week. I need your support in sourcing for more candidates or sending me referrals. Just say where you're stuck, where you need help. By doing that, number one, you've given a status update, a status report of where you are. And you're also showing your supervisor that as much as I'm doing this thing, I also rely on you to give me support. That is part of managing egos. Very important. Don't show your boss that you can do everything on your own, that you're sending a report and there's no input that they need to put into what you're doing. Let them know that I have done this, I am stuck here, I would appreciate your support. Very, very important. Back it up with data, not only stories. Data, very important. And then balance and collaboration. Be assertive when necessary, especially when disrespect comes in. You need to be very assertive, but balance it with collaboration. I have told you, in any organization, there are those people who are not in the hierarchy of power, but they wield so much power. Collaborate with these people. Don't go like don't also make it so obvious that you're being close to them because you need favors. Let it just come from a very genuine point of view. Let them not feel flattered that, I don't know why she talks to me, and then it's so outright that you're talking to this one in a different way. When you come to talk to this other person, you're also a different person. No, just be very, very genuine when you're building those networks, when you're collaborating with these people who have power. It should be genuine. They should not be able to notice something that is off, because that is, again, they'll just put a block. These people can put a block to you and there's nothing you can do. You'll continue suffering and complaining. Have very clear goals, have career goals and timelines that will guide you. For instance, if I am working, and I've had people say this so many times, that I'm only going to work there for 4 years. In these 4 years, my intention is to perfect on my recruitment, perfect on my performance management, and maybe perfect on my communication skills. So it is clear, even when you're going to meet your supervisors, you're able to refer to your goals and tell them, I know I'm not very good in public speaking. How are you able to help me? Do you think I've improved from the last session that we have? Do you think there's any improvement? What areas do I need to work on? Like that, to make your work better, and to also do what? Involve your supervisor, because these supervisors have so much power. Sometimes they're the people who just sit on your promotion. They don't want to recommend you in those rooms because they don't. Sometimes, I'm sorry, but it's an emotional thing. Some people just don't feel like saying your name. They think if we say Sharon, she's going to speak her English there. We don't want her English. So get to understand, what does your supervisor think about you? Yes, Abundance? Can I continue?
But now we have the tactics.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing them. How do we increase our visibility without looking like kuna kiberebere?
Najipendekeza.
Najipendekeza.
Somebody told me, Martha, that the things that you're saying looks like you want us to simp to our bosses. And I told them, choose your hard. Being an invisible is hard. Being visible is hard. So choose which hard. Choose your difficult, and then move with it. Because if you want to be invisible and comfortable, well and good. But if you want to be visible, it is work. Sometimes you even have to know the birthday of your boss and just send them, happy birthday, wishing you many more years. DM, not the one that people always send to the WhatsApp group. DM them. Let them know this is a thoughtful gesture.
I hear you.
Yeah. So build relationships, connect with your colleagues across various teams and levels to expand your internal network. Do you know that there are people who do not talk to any other person in any other department?
Okay.
To them, it is their department and that is what matters. So if you ask them, do you know so-and-so from finance? They're like, no, me, I have no interest with finance.
Uh-huh.
They don't even know they can go and consult something in finance concerning their pay slip,
Well,
concerning the changes on the finance bill. Who is going to explain it better to you?
it's the
It is
finance
people in finance.
person.
So those collaborations, and then sometimes you find yourself that you're in a space where there's everyone on the team, like all the departments. So there's someone who's known by at least everyone in the department.
Mm-hmm.
It is very easy for management to work with such a person than with someone who is not known at all. Because even if they were suggesting my name to be the operations manager, for instance, then the head of procurement says, no, I don't know Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Just that simple statement that I don't know her
It's gone.
throws me off balance because there's someone else who's known by all the head of departments. And she's not in all those departments. She's just maybe in procurement, but finance know her, marketing, they know her, IT, they know her. Every other department, they know this person.
Mm.
They just, sometimes it's as simple as going to that office and saying, hi, my name is Sharon. I'm from HR department. I was just passing by and thought to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's part of visibility. You meet someone on the corridor, maybe you've seen them on the website, especially in very big organizations. You've seen them on the website and you can put the face to the name. Just say, hello, how are you? I'm happy to meet you. Thank you for visiting us today. We are doing great here. We are trying to build on the news. You know, you tie that conversation to something that has been discussed in the meeting and it is part of strategy. We are trying to build the new sales model. We are hoping it works well with the clients that we have. Thank you. That person will go thinking about you. Who is this person who makes me stand in the corridor and explain to me a sales model? But most people, when such an opportunity comes, they pass that director very fast, going to their desk. It could be a simple conversation as that makes you get a promotion. I've also seen organizations, abundance, where guys, if you're a top performer, you get the opportunity to have lunch with some of the directors, the very C-suite level. So imagine you are maybe at assistant manager level, not even assistant, officer level, and then you get an opportunity to go and meet the C-suite. Yani, it has just brought itself. That one has brought itself because of your hard work. So now you want to couple your hard work with visibility. And you don't go for that lunch date or for the dinner just to eat meat and talk about that meat. Throw in a conversation about strategy. Throw in a conversation about how you've been able to be a good performer. At least leave an impact from that meeting, from that conversation. Yes. That, yeah, this is what I did. And Martha, please just be timing me because I could talk about this thing for as long as I'm awake. So communicate your achievements. Communicate your achievements. Let me tell you, even if it is something that you did and credit is being given to, let's say, your supervisor. Credit is given to your supervisor, but it is you who did the thing. Do you know how you nicely and respectfully also jump into the achievement? If you're in a meeting and you know there's the people are talking and everyone is saying thank you to the head of HR department, and that is not me, and that is purely my effort. If I have a chance to say something, of course I'll stand and say it was really great working with my HOD on that particular project. I remember when I proposed this to him, we were not sure if it would work, but I am glad that with his support, we've been able to come this far. So somebody knows that, okay, Sharon is behind the engine. As much as the HOD is on the driver's seat, Sharon is on the engine. So I've just shown that I did this, but I'm not trying to downplay what my HOD has said. It's equally important, and what I did is actually also of much importance to the team. You know, it becomes a problem when people, after that meeting, people go complaining in the corridors, abundance, that, hey, why was he taking credit because of what I did? Yet you were in that meeting. You were able to simply raise your hand and say, thank you. This is a win for our department. Our HOD has held our hand so much to the point that we now have achieved this. I remember when we were discussing about implementation and put in those points of what you did. You know, sometimes it is just how we tweak, how we manage the egos of our bosses, how we present ourselves, how we present our topics. And one thing before we go to the next topic, because I think I've talked about reciprocity, is that don't be too brutal with the truth. If you need to correct your supervisor on something that they did and it is not accurate, don't just be the one to say, excuse me, I think it is not right. It was supposed to be 50%. We did 80%. What have you done to the ego of your boss? As much as you are right. Yeah. And then you expect after that meeting, they're going to say your name. Where? They cannot. So be very tactful. Be very diplomatic. I'm also one person who has worked so hard to be diplomatic with how I present myself, how I talk to you, because I felt that why should I sugarcoat things? Let me tell you as it is, but we don't do that in corporate. I learned the hard way. Don't learn to sugarcoat, learn to package it nicely for it to be palatable to the stakeholders.
We have like 5 minutes. I don't know whether we can do a part 2 or we first conclude that part. It's quite a bit. Then we do a part 2.
Okay, how many slides are left? We have so many, but I think I have talked about virtually much of it. Visibility, I've talked about it. Let me just talk briefly about office politics.
Okay.
Just in 2 minutes. Number one, office politics is about the relationships at work and how you manage them to your advantage. Please, after you've watched this video, just know that office politics is not bad. It is a good thing. Don't hate it. Just learn how to play. Know who to talk to, know how to talk to them, know people's personalities, be very emotionally intelligent, and then be very discreet with your personal life. Don't get to the office, start talking about my children, my husband, my car, my estate, my children go to this school. It brings unnecessary enmity. Remember, your colleagues are not your friends. These are people you're just there to fight for limited resources. There can only be one CEO in an organization. There can be only one HOD in a department. So we are all fighting for limited resources. And if any of your friends, those that you call friends at work, is given a fair chance, you will simply be thrown under the bus to their advantage. That is why I say they're not your friends. Be friendly, talk to them in a nice way, be approachable, be likable, but they're not your friends. Don't get it twisted that you spend so many hours with them. These people are not your friends, your colleagues. Yes, abundance.
Hey, that is quite something. I'm sure it will heartbreak others, and I'm sure there are others who are going to accept it and at least work from there and build the radar that we're looking for. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we can conclude up to that point. And
yes,
I'm sure first learners have so many questions that we look forward to hear from you on the comment section. Ask questions there, and Sharon is a workplace coach, and she's available on her emails. And just your concluding remark for that part that you've covered, maybe.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. I'll be glad to tackle all your queries on the comment section. You can also follow me on my socials. We discuss more about this every other day. So thank you for your time. I'll, of course, engage with people in the comment section. You're free to reach out to me. My number is on the screen and my email address if you want to reach out for any workplace issue that you have. You and I will solve it together.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. It's indeed an absolute, eye-opening moment to learn about the office politics and learn how to position ourselves and be ready to position ourselves to get those positions. Thank you so much.